Hello, warriors. Welcome to A Spiritual Warrior, a podcast that helps faith-based individuals mature spiritually through the Word of God, prayer, and application. I'm your host, Shatoya Antwine, and I pray that this episode blesses you. So let's get started. Hey guys, on today's episode, we will be talking about God as our Waymaker. So I know a couple months ago I shared how God has made ways for me, and I just want to dig a little bit deeper. And for this specific episode, focusing on God making a way for us in the wilderness. So our focus is God is our Waymaker. So sometimes we forget that God is a waymaker. We forget who God actually is in the midst of our circumstances. We spend so much time trying to figure out, why me? Why do I have to go through this? Why can't I catch a break? Why doesn't my life look like everybody else's? I've been praying, but God, you haven't answered yet. When are you going to answer my prayer? This is when we have to not only remind ourselves that God is a waymaker, but we have to believe and act as if He is our waymaker. So I want you guys to be reminded of all of the ways that God has made for you in the past, and to know if He did it before, that He will do it again. We know that Romans 8:28 says that all things work together for the good of them who love Him and who have been called according to His purpose. So we have all been called according to God's purpose, and He will always make ways out of no ways for us, and that He will do literally all the days of our life. And no matter what bad you go through, God will work it out for your good. Proverbs 16:9 reads, "In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." The New Living Translation reads, "We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps." So you may be trying to do things your way when you literally just have to let God do His job. He can make open doors that nobody can open but Him. Like, you literally can't open the door by yourself or on your own or with your own strength. So we have to remember and be mindful of that. And that He can literally lead you to places and people and things that you could have never found or experienced on your own. Sometimes we have to stop trying to be the God in our lives and let God be the waymaker in our situations. Isaiah 43:16-19 reads, "I am the Lord who opened a way through the waters, making a dry path through the sea. I called forth the mighty army of Egypt with all its chariots and horses. I drew them beneath the waves, and they drowned, their lives snuffed out like a smoldering candle wick. But forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do, for I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland." You may be going through a very tough season in your life, but you will not be going through that forever. You have to just be mindful that it's literally temporary. You may be thinking that you are going through hell and high waters, but God will provide a way out. What you are going through right now is nothing compared to what God is getting ready to bring you to. Just because you haven't been able to witness it yet, you haven't been able to witness how God's going to make this way, the fact that you can't see it doesn't mean that God isn't working it out, and it doesn't mean that He hasn't already worked it out. When He put you in the storm, He already knew the outcome. He already knew what was going to happen during the process. Everything is already worked out. It's already worked out. What you are going through is not a surprise to him. It's not a surprise to God at all. God is literally the author and the finisher of our faith. He's the beginning and the end. Nothing by any means happens on this earth without his consent or control. You may not see what he's doing right now, but soon you will, and you will be so grateful that he chose you to go through this storm. You may not understand what he's doing right now, but soon you will, and you will appreciate all that he has taken you through and all that he has brought you out of. And I want you to remind yourself that you are not going through this alone. You have God. You have God to go through this storm with. He's walking with you step by step. You can even rest on his promise that he will never leave you nor forsake you. He will never put you in the darkness and not be your light. He will never put you in a situation and leave you to drown in it. God didn't bring you this far to leave you. If he brought you to it, he will guide you through it and he will bring you out of it. God is a waymaker. God is a man who can open doors that no man can shut. And what you thought was meant to harm you and to set you back is really being used to bring you closer to God. It's being used to increase your faith, to prepare you for greater, helping you to even be a light to other people, to help someone else who's going through a situation that's similar to yours. You will have a testimony after this season. And you will share it with other people. And it's going to encourage them to continue to push through despite all that they're going through and despite what they can only see with their human eyes. So know that God has not forgotten about you. Know that God will give you the desires of your heart. But you also have to make sure that you are seeking Him so that He can give you the desires of your heart. And if He called you to something, if he's brought you to something, I just want you to know that he's going to bring you through it and he will provide a way out. So I pray that that encouraged you. But most importantly, I just want to leave you with some action items because it's easy to say that God is a waymaker. It's easy to say that we should be able to believe it because it's true, but sometimes it's hard to put that in action and to make sure that we're reminded of that throughout what we're actually going through in life. So one, I just want you to trust him. To trust that God is a waymaker. Proverbs 3:5-6 says to trust in the Lord with all of your heart, to lean not on your own understanding, but in all of your ways, acknowledge him, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Have confidence in him and have hope in him. Two, I want you to pray for guidance. Ask God, Lord, what do you need me to do while I'm in this season? What do you need me to do while I am enduring this? Lord, what do you need me to do in order for me to get through this? Lord, what do you need me not to do so that I can get through this? Lord, show me a way. Show me the way. Pray that he will open your eyes, that he will open your ears, that he will open your heart to be able to hear from him clearly. Pray that he will give you a sign. Pray that he will speak to you. Ask him, Lord, help me to be still so I don't miss what it is that you're trying to teach me in this season, what it is that you're trying to speak to me in this season. Pray that you are able to walk by his steps like God orders our steps. Our plans are not his plans. Our thoughts are not his thoughts. You can literally sit and try to plan your way out of this, but God has the ultimate plan. So pray that he helps you to be still. Pray that he helps you to be able to silence all the distractions and the thoughts that are going through your mind so that you are able to hear from him. Three, I want you to have steadfast faith. Have faith in God, trust God, and be reminded of what faith is. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. 4, I want you to believe. Believe that God can do exactly what he says he will do. That he can do what not only you expect him to do, but he's honestly able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all of that. God said he would do it, he will do it. God is not a God who is a liar. He's not a God of confusion. So just pray, just believe, and trust in him. If he said he will do it, he will do it. Place your complete confidence in God and just place your complete trust in God as well. And lastly, I want you to reflect on the ways that God has made in the past. So you already know him as a waymaker, and you know him as a waymaker because you know that he's brought you out of things in the past. You've seen him be a waymaker for other people. I want you to reflect on all of the doors that God has opened for you that you couldn't do or open on your own. I want you to think about all of the times that he's made a way, that he's provided for you, whether you have lost a job or at a time when you wanted to leave a job and he made a way for you to be able to do that, whether you were in a situation where you were getting ready to get fired, but God stepped in and intervened so you didn't have to get fired and placed you in a new position or placed you in a new company. There's been times where you have mismanaged funds, but God has still given you grace. He's still forgiving you, and he's made a way for you to be able to pay your bills when you couldn't afford to pay your bills. Whenever you lacked money, he provided for you. Whenever you were getting ready to be evicted, he made a way for you. Whenever you have been in a position where you didn't qualify for a job, or you didn't qualify for a new position, or you didn't qualify for a house, but God made a way somehow, and you know that way was only made by him because you know that you didn't qualify, but he qualified you. There may have been times where you didn't have money to buy food, and you were probably at the register getting ready to swipe your card, praying to the Lord that it did not decline, because I know that has been me before. But in the midst of all of that, God sent somebody to bless you, to pay for your groceries, to pay for your meal, or he made a way where you knew that your card should have declined and it didn't. There's been times where he's provided you with a resource. He's provided and sent a person to you, someone to pray for you, to pray with you, to intercede on your behalf, to speak a word of encouragement. He's made ways where he's literally sent words for you that you needed to hear, that someone has spoken it to you who had no idea what it was that you were going through. So just like all of the ways that he's made in the past, all of the ways that he's been able to bring you out of things, as you are in this season of discomfort, being impatient, wondering where God is, God has not left you. He's still with you, and he's leading and guiding you through this storm. He's making a way in the wilderness. So I pray that this has encouraged you. I know a couple months ago I shared a little bit about God making a way in my life during one of the lowest seasons of my life. You can go back to episode 3 and re-listen to that, or if you haven't listened to it, I highly encourage you to do that. So be encouraged. Know that God is going to make a way and that he has not forgotten about you. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Make sure that you check out the show notes, and I'll chat with you next time. Be blessed.